It is said that parking is not allowed on the grass. The 4-axle 100-ton King in front of us had an accident, causing the front axle to fall off the beam directly. Since the truck was seriously damaged this time, the wealthy owner directly called a high-end rescue vehicle to tow the truck to a nearby repair shop and then repair the truck. Now the experienced masters have quickly fixed the truck to the rescue vehicle. Then the truck can be transported to the repair shop in Peshawar. After half an hour of transportation by the high-end rescue vehicle, the truck finally arrived at the destination. The truck responsible for transporting the front axle also arrived at the scene very quickly. It can be seen that in order to repair the damaged truck, the rescue fee is also indispensable. In order to facilitate the repair of the damaged truck, they also need to use a high-end crane to adjust the position of the truck. After all the preparations are done, they can then remove the accessories inside the cab to facilitate the subsequent correction of the damaged cab. The bumper that is deformed to the front needs to be removed first. Because the truck is dragging the ground, the exhaust pipe is also torn, which also needs to be disassembled and repaired. The front water tank and intercooler have also reached the scrap standard. This accident undoubtedly made the car owner, who was not rich to begin with, even worse. Fortunately, the masters of this repair shop are professional enough to repair the car door. They never replace it with a new one. For example, the car door that has been torn and deformed has been carefully welded and skillfully knocked by the master. The deformed position is slowly recovering. As for the deformed cab, the deformation of the damaged position is too serious. In order to repair the deformed position, the master can only remove the inner plate first. Since there is no high-end correction equipment on site, they can only use the thread top to correct the deformed position little by little. This process seems complicated, but it is not simple at all. After all, their repair equipment is limited. This requires the masters to knock and correct continuously. Finally, after the master knocked 100 times, the deformed position has been restored. The basic curvature is enough for them. As long as the windshield can be installed, there will be no problem. As for the uneven position, it can be made up with the reverse. The next operation is relatively simple. They only need to install the repaired hood. The windshield in front can only be replaced with a new one. The fixed seal between this glass and the cab depends entirely on the rubber strip. In order to facilitate the installation, the masters need to install the cotton thread first. In this way, during the installation process, the masters only need to adjust the position of the windshield and then install the cotton thread. Then the master inside can install the glass glue strip into the cab through the cotton thread. The repair to the cab is finally completed after the seemingly simple operation of the masters. Next, the detached front axle can be installed on the truck. The first thing to install is the front axle suspension steel plate. The number of front axle steel plates is also relatively large, which is more than the rear axle steel plates of normal trucks. When installing this heavy front axle steel plate, they use a homemade trolley for assistance and then fix it through the kingpin. The entire front axle suspension steel plate has been installed very quickly. Then the front axle can be installed. At this time, they use the jack for assistance and then skillfully install the riding bolts to the appropriate position. Just tighten the fixing bolts and the installation is completed. During the installation of the brake pad, you can see that the brakes of this 4-axle 100-ton King are still all brakes. It is estimated that this truck must have been rubbed by hand. After the main components of the front axle are installed, the next installation is relatively simple. Only the tires on both sides are left. In the process of spraying paint on the cab, the masters directly painted the whole truck, making the truck look brand new. Like this accident truck, after 3 days of repair, the truck was finally repaired. At the end of the video, how many rupees do you think it will cost for this repair?